Think about this for a second. We build our entire reality with language. It's how we describe everything, share ideas, create meaning. But what if that foundational tool, the very thing we use to construct our world, is actually broken?
Now, you might be thinking that sounds a little philosophical, but this isn't just some abstract thought experiment. It's a very real problem that a group of characters in a fascinating text are wrestling with. And honestly, their struggle tells us a lot about our own relationship with language.
You can just feel the frustration coming from this one character, Hammer. He's looking at the stories being told around him, and he doesn't just see something that's flawed. He sees something that's completely useless. He literally says, "I do not think they function very well in words." This has, what, uselessness? So he's not just saying, hey, this isn't working. He's saying it's utterly pointless.
And this frustration, it sparks this really powerful idea. What if language isn't just a broken tool? What if it's something more mischievous? A trickster, even. Like a deceptive code. The source material actually gives it this perfect name, the Linguistic Loki.
Okay, so what is a linguistic Loki? Well, it's a term Hammer comes up with for language that seems deliberately designed to confuse, not to clarify. Instead of revealing truth, it actively hides it, turning communication into this incredibly frustrating code you have to decipher.
And you can just feel how fed up he is. He basically yells, "Why, one might as well ask a few monkeys to randomly key in letters. That is as much as I regard all this." You know that feeling, right? That total communication breakdown where nothing makes sense and it all just feels completely random.
This really gets to the heart of it. We expect language to be like a map, right? Something that guides us to the truth, helps us create a shared understanding of reality. But the critique here is, what if it's not a map at all? What if it's actually a maze? Something that hides the path, just makes us frustrated, and basically constructs a fiction that we're all trapped inside.
So, okay, what happens when this broken, deceptive language gets turned inward? I mean, what's the psychological fallout? What does it do to a person to live in a world they can't even properly describe?
Well, we get a pretty chilling glimpse through one character, the assassin. They describe themselves as, and I'm quoting here, an existential wreckage. Imagine that. A state where fear and anxiety are just your default settings.
And this feeling just keeps popping up. Another character, Knight B, talks about being systematically nervous. It's this constant, hopeless state of being on edge, like your entire nervous system is trying to prepare for a danger it can't understand, because the world just doesn't make any sense.
Then Archer 1 gives us this incredible metaphor. They describe anxiety as luggage about to go on a holiday that never arrives. It's just perfect, isn't it? This heavy, useless weight you carry around for a future that's never actually going to get here.
So what does the mind do? Well, it goes into defense mode. It starts to mirror that chaotic world outside. It develops these fear-based responses, it hides uncomfortable truths. Basically, it does whatever it can to preserve itself. But here's the catch. Those defenses are often just delusional narratives, and eventually they just collapse under the weight of it all.
Which brings us to a really crucial point. If the language is the problem, what is the fundamental truth that it's failing to describe? Well, the source material gives us a pretty startling answer. It's chaos. Chaos is the only real ruler.
See, the problem isn't just the words we're using. It seems like we might have been pointing the finger at the wrong culprit this entire time.
It's the world they fail to capture. The map isn't the issue. The landscape itself is the problem. Language isn't failing because it's inherently broken. It's failing because the reality it's trying to map is just fundamentally, inescapably chaotic.
And this is where Knight B asks the big one. What is the point of having any kind of a complex structure that models the outside world if it is all a shallow shell of an existence, with chaos the only arbiter of all? See, this goes way beyond just a critique of words. This is a challenge to our entire understanding of reality itself.
Another character, a medieval knight, echoes the same idea. They basically say that no matter how hard we try, so much of what happens is just random, naturally, deriving out of chaos, fundamentally. It's like we're all desperately trying to draw straight lines on a piece of paper that's constantly being crumpled.
So, if our words are broken and reality itself is just chaos, that leads to the really big looming question, doesn't it? What is the point? How are you supposed to live in all this wreckage?
Archer 1 puts it to us bluntly. Never a reason for anything. Why do you even bother at all? Just for the hell of it? Just because fear of the future is lesser than fear of nothingness?
That's it. That's the raw existential question you're left with when all the usual ways we make meaning just fall apart.
And really, this is what it all boils down to for us. When the tools we've always used to make sense of the world, our language, our stories, our systems, when they're broken, what do you use instead? What's left?
And then the question gets even more personal, doesn't it? How do you build a self? How do you create an identity for yourself in a world you can't even reliably describe?
But here's a thought. If our stories, these flawed maps we make, are just our defense against a random and chaotic reality, does that actually make them less valuable? Or maybe, does it make them the most valuable thing we could possibly have?
And so, we're left with this final, really provocative idea to chew on. In a world that offers us no inherent meaning, is the act of creating it ourselves our only true purpose?